Hello, it is Tuesday, September 30th. I haven't done any videos lately because we've had some family stuff going on and I haven't really been out in the garden. I actually have not been out in the garden in probably a week or so now. So let's take a look and see what we got going on. I'm going to start out by saying there's a whole bunch of tomatoes over there. And I'm going to open the gate and see what we have to see here. That was kind of stuck. I've got some coleus all over the floor. I've got the purple tomatoes kind of tucked in here. The pathways are crazy. This is, let's see, up to my knee. It's like really crazy long. I did come out here probably 2 weeks ago now and prop up this mess here, which I'm going to have to pull out. This was my acorn squash, and actually, as I'm saying that, I see there's a little acorn squash hidden in here. Let's see if this one's chewed. So something has been out here chewing these, and I was joking with my kids saying, oh, well, we can just like cut those bits off, and I don't know if I can or not, but hey, maybe. Alright, I'm going to move this back over here so it's out of my way until I'm done. Because they get big and kind of fill up my harvest basket. I don't want to fill up my harvest basket today. Alright, so we've got more of this crazy grass kind of taking over my, what is this thing called? Chives. Sorry, my brain is kind of fried, and I'm probably going to miscall a bunch of different plants and things today. I really haven't been having a good month, and so my poor garden is kind of showing the neglect. Oh, there are actually a bunch of peppers over here that I'm going to pick for my neighbor, because I was just talking to him and I told him I would bring him peppers today. It looks like I will have a bunch of cherry tomatoes here to pick. Bunch of cherry tomatoes back here. And let's take the harvest basket over this pole. Not trip myself up here. And see what we got going on here. Put my basket down. Alright, so I did have a lot of splitting with any of the tomatoes I've seen, whichever. There are bugs flying in my face as I'm talking to you, which is really annoying. And some of these tomatoes have something going on here where it's like, it's kind of gross and I don't want to eat it, so that's going to go to the birds. This plant still has some green tomatoes. It's got a hole in the bottom. But the plant itself is pretty much dead. Like, there's still a green main vine, but the leaves are pretty dead. Considering that we are going into October and I'm still getting red tomatoes, though, is kind of nice. We do have a really late summer. As I'm talking to you, it is the end of September and I am wearing shorts. That is definitely not normal. I forgot my basket over here. Alright, we've got a tomato that dropped here, and it looks like this is actually okay to eat. Maybe. I mean, it's got a hole. You know what? I'm not gonna keep ones that have fallen that have holes in them. I'm not gonna play that game. Alright, so it looks like we've got some of these peppers. And looks like they're turning red little now. I think that might be because it is warm during the day, but it is chilly at night. Oh, this one's like really stuck. I'm gonna need 2 hands for that one later. Alright, so we've got some tomatoes, we've got some peppers. So in this mess here, I do not know if I talked about it before, but the back side of this is all some kind of a berry bush with thorns. So I've had to be careful harvesting things in here, because as I go to grab stuff, you could see this, and this was really mixed in with my tomatoes to where I was accidentally grabbing it, which was less than delightful. So yay to that. The sunflowers are 100% dead at this point, and looking at this, it looks like it's been pretty well eaten by birds at this point. This pathway is just gone. There's no path. Oh, sorry, put my finger in front of the camera. There is no more path here. The marigold that I planted had a very late start to the year, but you can see it's looking really fabulous now, to the point where it's actually fallen into the pathway, and I'm going to have to somehow prop it up so that I can go around and show you that side. I'm going to go back the way it came from and realize that this tomato plant has actually snuck all the way over to here. I'm going to pick this tomato. So being a hybrid tomato plus being mixed with whatever was here last year, I do have some interesting sizes of these, like some are bigger than others. All right, I'm going to try and go through here without tripping over this stick. And my dog is out here because she is helping make sure there's no critters out here. Her job is to make sure there's no rabbits or voles or mice or anything lurking. Looks like my green onions are starting to show signs of end of fall. They're getting they're getting a little squishy. Although this being on it probably isn't helping. It does look like the acorn squash is pretty much kaput at this point. I do have a lot of these in the house. I want to say I have at least 20 of these in the house, which is insane, and I don't know what to do with them all, because somebody in the gardening group had told me that when I was harvesting in the summertime, they would not be winter hardy in the pantry. So I don't really know how long they're going to last in the pantry, but that's where they have to go, because I cannot possibly eat that many acorn squash at once. Even though my kids love having acorn squash mixed with apples with cinnamon and brown sugar over it, absolutely delightful to roast, there's only so much that you can eat. Let's see the what is this called? Eggplant. I was about to call it acorn squash. The eggplant look like they have a bunch of little eggplants on it. So I did notice that once the temperature started to drop a bit, these kind of stopped getting big. And like that's the biggest one I see here. I also see some green peppers. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. There's green well, they're not supposed to be green peppers. They're actually supposed to be yellow peppers. But I've been harvesting them when they're green because why not? Look at that. I seem to recall talking about this before and saying I didn't think this was going to bloom again, so I am happy to see it blooming again. And it's pink, which is really pretty. So this one is pink, and there's a little bit of orange there. And then down here, this one's pink, and then this one actually has a little bit of color in it, which is kind of cool. Let's see. That tomato plant that was in the center here, that was kind of that stocky plant that was staying in one place. Yeah, it changed its mind. And while it is stocky here, it's come like this way. Like there's the root over there. So yeah, this plant kind of went a little psycho. And it's all the way falling off the end of the pot. Like if you can see, here's the end of the pot right here, and the plant is like well over the edge. I'm peeking at my walkways. I was saying to, I think it was my mom I was talking to, if I had realized that the garden was going to extend past the boundaries as much as it has, I probably would have made the spacing between the beds bigger. But I literally did not think there was a chance of my eggplant leaving the beds, my marigolds leaving the beds, or anything else here that's just gone crazy. Like, I've had them kind of fall over before, but this is a little crazy. And I don't know if it's because I just haven't been able to keep up on it, or if there's a different reason. Oh, look at my dog just being cute. He's just like sitting there chilling. Of course I try and snap a picture of her doing it. She's like, nope. Why do dogs do that? Oh, look at the pretty little... This is a skipper. And they're actually really friendly. Like, you can walk right up to them and they're just like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever you're doing there. But, yeah, I'm amazed by the size of this marigold. If I stand next to it, it is, it's as tall as my hip. So that's kind of insane. Looking over here, there's more marigolds. Oh my goodness. I do still have hidden in here some Romas. And I don't think I've actually made a video since discovering that my daughter ended up having Romas on her side of the kids' garden. So that was a fun discovery. Ugh, the little gnats flying in my face as I'm talking to you. Okay. Oh, so we do have a green onion that managed to survive in this bed. And more unruly tomatoes that are like everywhere. So this tomato plant has taken over this entire bed. Like, it's kind of up on the trellis that was the cucumber trellis, and it's just kind of everywhere. There is some signs of zucchini plants in this mess. Like, here's a zucchini thing here, and there are nasturtium in here. They actually are pretty. I ended up with a yellow nasturtium here and an orange one. The pack supposedly makes like a red one too, but I haven't seen that yet. And I planted it last year on this year. Taking a look at the trellis here. I'm curious if there's any signs of cucumbers remaining. Oh my goodness, this nasturtium. Okay, so this is something I've never seen before. This nasturtium plant here has gone up. Try and get my phone to thing. The flowers are all the way up here, and that's a good 18 inches to 2 feet off the ground. I've never seen them grow that tall before. They usually are like this little short plant here, not growing up on a trellis. That's impressive. I'll try and carefully move through here. Alright, let's see if there's any sign of zucchini growing in this little section that's still alive. It is still producing flowers, and it is still producing kind of zucchini. So this is like kind of squishy and gross, and that one, that's squishy. Ew. So that's gonna be one I'm gonna have to get like gloves and start ripping out some of this nasty stuff. There are peppers, spicy peppers, right in here. And I see quite a few of those hiding under here, which my neighbor will be happy about because I told him that there were definitely going to be some peppers when I checked the garden today. So they're nice size too. I don't know what kind they are, that they are kind of turning black. I don't know if you can see that with the way the light is hitting it. So it's green on this side, and it's starting to get black right in here. And whatever kind of really spicy pepper this is, it starts going black over time. But I've actually seen it go black even before it gets to the size, like smaller ones have gone black. And I don't know what kind of pepper it is. I was told it was some kind of like jalapeno, but my neighbor said that they are hot. They got some heat to them. So yeah, I don't know what that is. Trying to see if there's anything else going on here. So we've got hot cherry peppers, random tomatoes, Romas, nothing left of the sunflowers, marigolds, maybe one more zucchini. Oh, what is that? Oh, weird. Can you see? This zucchini went spotty. What is that? Anyone know why this zucchini went spotty? That's so bizarre. I'm just going to throw that aside for now to deal with later, but I haven't seen that before. My herbs are still hanging in there. So in this pot over here, I see the thyme. I think I might see some... I see rosemary. Oh, there is some parsley still in there. And then this one over here, underneath the stupid ornamental grasses that came back, there's rosemary, and I don't know what's next to it. Just see a bunch of mountain sorrel, which is the thing that looks similar to clover. Alright, Alrighty. I think that pretty much wraps up the tour. We've got some peppers to harvest today, some tomatoes to harvest today, and some eggplants to harvest today. And that's pretty much all that's remaining of the garden. I've got these couple acorn squash that are stragglers. Like this one's going to get harvested today. And it looks like I can start cleaning up the garden if I feel like it, because I have some of this really unruly mass that is just ugly. So I would clean that up just so that it doesn't look so awful in here. I do kind of leave the garden unruly for the winter because there are a lot of bugs that depend on the stuff that's on the ground. But I also don't like leaving the garden too messy just because I still have stuff I have to do out here, and that's more in the way than anything else at this point. Like it's kind of like on the pathways and it's going to kill grass, and it's just it's sneaking onto the side where the grass is, which is why I worry about just being there. But once I stop harvesting things, whatever remains in the beds here will just stay, and I'll just clean up in the spring because 1, I'm lazy and don't feel like it. 2, it's good for the bugs and critters that want to live out here. And I don't know, there's probably more reasons, but my brain isn't 100% on that topic. And anyone who wants to see the oregano's kind of gone crazy with going to seed here. And this is now a very woody stem. And I don't remember if I actually talked about it. So let me creep along over here. I have a little tiny fig on my fig tree. In fact, I have 2 little tiny figs. There's 1 there and 2. So there's 2 little tiny figs on my fig tree that I bought in the spring. I don't know that they'll actually be edible because they're so tiny, but hey, it's fun. I grew figs this year. And anyone who'd like to see my pineapple plant has gotten absolutely insanely huge. Funny story about the pineapple. I grew my own pineapple this year. I took a top off, I planted it, it grew. So excited, yay. And then my friend goes, you know, I'd really like to have a pineapple plant. And I said, you know what, I don't really have a place to put it for the winter. So you can have my pineapple and just don't kill it, because I'll be sad if you kill it. She's like, sure, 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 and she takes it. You know, the week after that, my mom gives me a pineapple plant that's almost as wide as this one and goes, hey, I grew a new pineapple this year. And I just looked at it and went, Mom, where the heck am I supposed to put that thing? Because this one, I don't know. I think this is going to have to get a hand truck because it is really big and heavy, and be migrated into a shed for the winter because it's too big to take to a plant sitter anymore. If you remember in the spring, I picked it up from somebody and it was in a pot maybe like as big as this bucket over here that I still haven't emptied in a while. But it was that big, and now it is way beyond that. And yeah, hello giant pineapple plant that isn't going to fit in my car or anywhere. And let's take one look over here. So the cherry blossoms, I did actually get asked by the groom that I planned these for if these had survived. He's like, I know you were trying to do something and like there were no more leaves or anything on it, but let's take a look at this. So it's still springy, which I'm kind of surprised about. This one over here still actually has an alive kind of stick look to it. So while the top here kind of looks like maybe it's dying a little bit, the stick itself still is springy, very springy actually, and I'm wondering if maybe that took. I'm not going to pull them out because I don't want to destroy roots, but I did have one that was by my fire pit that I had given up on, and I took it out of the ground. It was like short like this one over here. And I took it out of the ground, and it actually had the start of roots on it. So this one is clearly dead there. This one's like, I think the stick is definitely dead. So I'm going to give up on that one, and I'm going to pull it out and look. And sorry that it's not really... Okay, so if you look at this, if I can get to focus here, there is a little tiny bit of a root. So not enough for it to have actually survived, because there's not enough root here to sustain anything, but there is some sign of root here. So while this particular one is definitely dead and like breaking in my hand, these ones here I actually think might be alive. So that's going to be something I really want to see for the spring, if there's any chance of them coming back. When I move the pineapple into my shed, I think I might move these too, just so that they have a chance of overwintering. But that's interesting, because I have not checked these in a while. Oh, all the way up to the top here is springy. So while that other one snapped in my hand, this is still good. Maybe not this side bit, like that one snapped, but this top bit is actually pliable. That's pretty cool. So anyone who's been following along with the cherry blossoms, I am not going to declare them a complete lost cause yet. I am very surprised, and like, this is me discovering it while on camera. I have not looked at these anytime recently to know they're still pliable. So that's pretty cool. Mint. Oh, okay, so check this out. I did not know there was a sunflower here. So when I had planted this bed here, I had planted a late sunflower, thinking nothing would come of it, but that is really pretty. It actually has two flowers side by side there. That's not like a connected flower, that's two. That's gorgeous. Okay, that's exciting. I'm going to prop this up somehow. I'm going to try and keep it from falling back down on the ground. Maybe I'll get some string here. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. I managed to stick it in there. So, yay. All right. Thank you for coming along on my garden update tour. I don't know if I will end up doing any more this season. If I end up with more harvest stuff, I may come back and tell you things are still harvesting late in the season. But right now, I'm pretty sure that what it looks like is going to just be how it finishes out the season. So you can keep an eye out on the channel and see if I post more or not. But if not, I will see you in the spring. And thank you so much for following along with me this year.